If you're new here, welcome. We talk money, investing, and all that good stuff. If this sounds interesting, please hit the like button. It helps out tremendously, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Today we're going to be talking about how to prepare yourself for investing, the very first step that you need to take. Before even thinking about what stocks to buy or anything like that, is to get your ducks in a row. You have to do these 5 things before you start investing. Otherwise, it's going to be a really, really bad time. So let's jump into it. The first thing you need to do is make sure you have an emergency fund. And when I say emergency fund, I mean something that you can fall back on if you lose your job, if your car breaks down, if your house needs a repair, you have something to fall back on so that you don't need to sell your investments during a down market. This is so important because selling your investments during a down market can lead to huge losses. Say you invest $10,000 into the stock market and the stock market goes down 20% right after that. Well, if you invested $10,000 and then it dropped 20%, you would only have $8,000 left. But if you had an emergency fund and you didn't touch your investment account and you were able to live off of your emergency fund, then you would still have $10,000 and you would just wait until the market came back up. So having an emergency fund is super important. And according to Investopedia, you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in your emergency fund. Now, obviously, the more money you have in your emergency fund, the better protected you're gonna be. So if you can save up like 9 months or a year's worth of expenses, you be way better off than if you only have 1 month's worth of expenses saved. Now, where should you put your emergency fund? You want to put it in a place that's easily accessible, but also somewhere that you're not gonna lose money. So a great option is a high-yield savings account. These are accounts that pay you interest, but they're FDIC insured. So your money is safe. Right now, with inflation going crazy, interest rates are finally starting to go up. So look into high-yield savings accounts. Some banks are paying upwards of 2, maybe even 3% on your money. So that beats inflation, and it's a really, really good deal. And another bonus of having your money in a high-yield savings account instead of a regular savings account is that if you do need to use your emergency fund, you'll actually earn interest on your way out. Because let's say you put $10,000 into your savings account and you earn 2% interest. Well, if you're taking $1,000 out, you're still earning interest on the $9,000 that you have left. Next thing you need to do before investing is open a Roth IRA. And if you haven't heard of a Roth IRA, it's basically a retirement account that allows your investments to grow tax-free. So you put pre-tax money in, which means you don't get a deduction or anything like that. So you might not see a benefit immediately, but eventually when you retire and you start taking money out, everything is tax-free. So that's why you want to open a Roth IRA, and as soon as you can, start putting money into it. One of the biggest benefits of a Roth IRA is that there's no required minimum distributions, so RMDs. You do want to have to start taking money out at a certain age like you do with a traditional IRA or a 401k, so that's great. And the best part is, if you open a Roth IRA with a brokerage, it's pretty simple. All you got to do is fill out some paperwork, and that's it. You're ready to start investing. And since we're on the topic of investing, and UVA made your emergency fund, and UVA opened your Roth IRA, these are 2 great places to start. Next thing you need to do is figure out your debt situation. If you have a lot of debt, especially high interest rate debt, you need to get that under control before you start investing. Debt is basically like an investment that's guaranteed to give you a negative return. Let me explain. Let us say you have $10,000, and you could either invest it and make maybe 8% a year, or you could put it towards debt that is charging you 10% interest. Well, if you put it towards the debt, you're saving 10%, so you're getting a guaranteed 10% return. So you're better off paying down debt than investing in almost anything else. So if you have high interest rate debt, credit card debt, things like that, you want to get those under control before you start investing. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, but it's rare. For example, if you have credit card debt at 24% and the stock market is expected to return 20%, well then, you may want to invest because you could potentially make more money than you were paying in interest. However, that's kind of risky because you don't know how the stock market is going to do. So generally, if you have debt, especially high interest rate debt, you want to get that under control before you start investing. Now, if you're curious about different ways to pay off debt, check out this video right here. I go through the debt snowball method and the debt avalanche method and how to choose between them. Next thing you need to do is create a budget. If you're someone who has never created a budget before, I promise you your life will be so much easier once you start budgeting. You'll know exactly where your money is going every single month, and you won't want to have any surprises. You won't want to be scrambling trying to figure out where you can cut back because you'll already know where your spending is going. And then if you're someone who has budgeted before but you haven't stuck with it, it's okay. Just start again. Start over and try a new budgeting system. Try the 50-30-20 rule. Try zero-based budgeting. Try whatever you need to do to get back on track. Now, if you want a video about different budgeting methods, let me know in the comments below. Finally, the last thing you need to do before you start investing is decide what you're investing for. Are you investing for retirement? Are you investing to buy a house? Maybe you want to buy a Tesla one day, or maybe you just want to be able to retire early. Whatever your reason is, write it down. Make it clear and make it something that you can refer back to. Anytime you're feeling discouraged about investing, or you feel like it's not working, you can refer back to that and remember why you started in the first place. And I promise you that will help you stick with it. Alright guys, those are my 5 tips for what you should do before you start investing. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please hit the like button. It really does help me out. If you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button. And if you have any questions about investing, leave them in the comments below. I love reading your comments and answering your questions. Until next time, have a great day.